The phone buzzed on the marble counter at 2:17 a.m. and the screen lit up with a single line that sliced my chest open. Gate 42, Terminal 3. I'll be the one in the red scarf. Don't make me wait, mi amor. I was standing there in nothing but boxers, reaching for water, when the words froze me mid-sip. My wife's phone. My wife's lock screen photo of us on our 10th anniversary. And a message from someone saved only as M. I swear the kitchen tilted. The fridge hummed like it was laughing at me. I slid the notification open with a thumb that didn't feel like mine. The thread went back months. Hotels in Lisbon, voice notes that started with "I miss your skin" and ended with countdowns to our week. Our week. The same 7 days Sarah had begged me to let her take the kids to see her sick aunt in Portugal. I'd paid for the tickets. I'd kissed them goodbye at departures. I told her to text when they landed. She texted, "Landed safe, love you." She lied. I don't know how long I stood there, barefoot on cold tile, reading every syllable twice. My pulse hammered so loud I was sure it would wake the dog. When I finally exhaled, it sounded like a sob I hadn't approved. Sarah came home 8 days later smelling of airport coffee and someone else's cologne. The kids tumbled in behind her, sunburned, louder than life, waving cheap souvenirs. She dropped the suitcases, opened her arms, and I let her hug me because our daughter was watching. Her cheek brushed mine and I felt nothing but the phantom weight of that red scarf. That night she fell asleep first, curled on her side like nothing had changed. I lay rigid, replaying the messages in the dark. At 3:42 a.m., I slipped out of bed, took her phone to the bathroom and locked the door. The thread was still there, longer now. Photos of her laughing on a yacht, her hair wild in the wind, a man's tanned arm around her waist. The same arm that had typed, "Tell him whatever you need to. Just come." I wanted to scream. I wanted to smash the screen. Instead I forwarded every message, every photo, every voice note to my own email, then deleted the trail so cleanly she'd never know. My hands shook so hard the phone clattered into the sink. Morning came gray and merciless. Sarah kissed my forehead, asked if I'd slept okay. I said yes. I made pancakes. I asked the kids about castles and gelato. I smiled until my face cramped. Then I drove to the office and closed the door. I'm not a violent man. I'm not even loud. I'm the guy who remembers birthdays, who fixes leaky faucets at 11 p.m., who still writes love notes in Sarah's planner. But I am very, very good with numbers. 22 years in finance will do that. By noon I'd quietly moved every liquid asset we owned, checking, savings, the kids' college funds, even the vacation account, into a new trust requiring 2 signatures. Mine and a lawyer's. By 2 o'clock I'd frozen the credit card she used for emergencies. By 4 I'd changed the pins on everything. I did it all through back channels, no alerts, no drama. Just locks clicking shut. Sarah called at 6, panic crackling through the speaker. "Babe, the cards are declining. I'm at the grocery store with the kids and..." "Really?" I said, voice calm enough to scare me. "That's weird. Maybe call the bank." She promised to sort it. I hung up and stared out my window at the city she'd left me in. They stayed another 9 days. 9 days of system glitches. Of Sarah wiring money from her personal account that somehow never arrived. Of hotels that suddenly required cash up front. I watched the charges stop, then reverse, then vanish. I pictured her in that red scarf, counting coins for bus fare while our kids asked why the pool was closed. On day 10 she called crying. Not the pretty kind, ugly, hiccuping sobs. "We're coming home. Something's wrong with the money. Everything's wrong." I said, "Okay, honey. I'll be at arrivals." I stood behind the barrier in the same spot I'd waved them off, holding a sign that said "Welcome Home" in the kids' favorite colors. When they walked through the sliding doors, Sarah looked 10 years older. Her hair was flat, her eyes swollen. The kids dragged tiny suitcases and didn't shout when they saw me. She stopped 2 feet away. "What did you do?" I crouched, hugged our daughter, then our son, then stood. "I protected what's ours." Her mouth open, closed. The lover wasn't with her. I'd already made sure his passport raised flags at customs. Just Sarah, 2 confused kids, and 3 suitcases full of someone else's dream. We drove home in silence. The kids fell asleep in the back. Sarah stared out the window, whispering, "I was going to tell you. I swear I was coming back to tell you." "Tell me what?" I asked. That you needed a week to decide if you still loved your family? That you spent our savings on a boat ride with a man who called you mi amor while I packed school lunches? She cried harder. I didn't comfort her. That night I slept in the guest room. She knocked once, twice, then slid a note under the door. I'm sorry. I got lost. I thought the distance would wake me up. It only broke me. I didn't answer. The next weeks were a slow autopsy of a marriage. We went to counseling because the kids deserved parents who could sit in the same room. Sarah told the therapist everything. How M had made her feel 25 again. How the attention filled a hole she didn't know was there. How she'd planned to end it the day they flew home. She cried mascara onto tissues. I listened and felt nothing but the hollow echo where my trust used to live. One night our daughter asked why mommy slept on the couch. I said grown-ups sometimes need space to fix things. She nodded, then asked if daddy was fixing the money too. Kids see everything. Sarah got a job at a coffee shop to pay for her own phone plan. She gave me the login to every account, every message, every breath. I didn't look. I didn't need to. The damage was a canyon now. Peeking wouldn't change the depth. 3 months later I moved half the frozen assets into an account for the kids alone. Untouchable until they're 30. The rest I split fairly. She signed the papers without a fight. She moved into a studio 6 blocks away. We share custody, school runs, and the same forced smile at parent-teacher nights. Sometimes I still smell that cologne on the scarf she left in the closet. I haven't thrown it out. Some wounds need to stay open long enough to teach you where the arteries are. Last week our son asked if we could all go to Portugal together someday, when everyone's happy again. Sarah and I locked eyes across the kitchen table. She started to answer. I beat her to it. Maybe, I said. But next time we pay with our own money, and nobody wears red. She laughed. Actually laughed through fresh tears. I didn't. But for the first time in a year the sound didn't feel like a lie. Love isn't the promises you keep when it's easy. It's the ones you rebuild when everything's ash. I'm still holding the match, still deciding whether to strike it again or finally let the wind take what's left. Either way, no one boards a plane on my dime unless I'm sitting right beside them. That's the only vow I have left.